Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Takedown, a podcast brought to you by Jackrabbit Illustrated, focused on South Dakota State Wrestling. My name is Chad Myros, and today I'm joined with my co-hosts Alex Kenkel and Jordan Schoenrock, and we are delighted to present Micah Hach. You guys might know him from football, also as well as wrestling. Micah, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
All right. Well, thanks for being on, Jordo. Alex, how you guys doing?
I'm doing good.
Just peachy keen.
Just peachy keen. Well, thanks for being on so late at night, and we'll try and get you out of here in a timely fashion. But we've been really wanting to talk to you because we've been following you kind of in the background. Really, really excited to see you wrestle a little bit. You know, down at the Pentagon, we saw Dan down there, and I believe Chase was with him. No, excuse me. Well, maybe he was there too, but I distinctly remember them sitting at one of the home duels next to one of our other podcast hosts, Brennan. Jordan, I know you're excited to get going, so I'm going to let you hit off the questions first.
Yeah, so Micah, let's just talk a little bit about like your recruiting process and how you came about being a two-sport athlete for a Division I college.
So, I mean, originally it was I thought I would have to give up wrestling and football. That's kind of how it started. I was really worried about that because, you know, wrestling and football have been such a big part of my life for so long. So it was, I guess, a little bit difficult to like try and make that decision because I was getting recruited for both football and wrestling. But Damian Hahn has been there behind me for like quite a while. They've been letting me come to their RTC practices and helping me develop as a wrestler. I'd say that was a big reason why like I was as good as I was in high school in the wrestling scene. And with football, they kind of came along right away. SDSU was the first one to offer me. So, I mean, across 2 years, the recruiting process was pretty wild, but I mean, SDSU had been there the whole time. So, I mean, when it came down to it, they offered me an opportunity to do something that I thought would be awesome. I mean, I got to continue both sports that I loved. And at a place that like I've been around for most of my life. I grew up in Lake Benton, just east of Brookings. Do you guys know where Lake Benton is?
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. I just thought you were a Watertown guy.
I grew up in Lake Benton, and I actually grew up with my cousin Austin, who was somehow related to Terrence, if you remember him. Yep. He was a quarterback for SDSU way back when. So I got to be around him quite a bit as well. So, yeah, I've just been around SDSU most of my life. So
now there's a cool little sledding hill over there in Lake Benton, isn't there? Like,
oh yeah.
Have you ever taken a roll down that thing?
Every winter.
Every winter. You loved that when you were a kid.
Did you get this? Go on, Chad.
I was just going to ask if it's any better than the Larson Hill in Brookings.
I haven't been to the Larson Hill. I just know
it's the old.
Say you can't anymore.
Yeah, I know. I don't think. Yeah, they can't. They don't let people sled down anymore, do they, Alex?
Well, they planted a whole bunch of trees. That's Chad maybe is intentionally or unintentionally steering it this way. But if you've ever stood by me during the Hobo Day festivities, I yell at every politician, bring back Larson Sledding Hill, because we're going to go on a total side tangent here. We're going to get.
I had no idea, actually, Alex.
we're gonna get garage time early, but back when they were doing, to avoid getting as political as we can, but back when they were doing all the COVID hearings and stuff, right? So you know they're having all these town meetings. People can come up and speak. Mask mandate, no mask mandate, blah blah, whatever. And there's this random old guy who gets up in front of the room, says, I'm going to run for mayor and I'm going to fix the problems with this town. And you know what the real problem in this town is? We've got youths running amok because we need to bring back Larson Sledding Hill. and he went on like a 10, 15-minute rant about bringing back the Larson Sledding Hill. So I am now a single issue voter. That guy swayed me in regards to bringing back the Larson Sledding Hill.
I love it. What were you going to say about the Sledding Hill there over in Benton, Jordan?
Oh, I was going to ask Mike if he snuck over there this year at all, or if the coaches keep a tight enough leash on him in both sports to make sure he doesn't do anything like that.
I don't think Micah has a lot of free time, but I'll let him tell us that.
Yeah.
What's a normal day look like for you in the area where we kind of got both seasons going? And you could correct me if I'm wrong. I think you kind of were with football until that was kind of done, and then maybe transition more into wrestling. How'd that work for you? Maybe describe, how you had one season and then transitioned into the other, because that's quite interesting to me, and so I would think everybody else as well.
So it was
Q's calling you out too.
it was a pretty rough transition. I mean, we got done with football, and then we went right into Christmas break, and I ended up cutting my Christmas break short by a week. I was 307, and that was the week of the Iowa State duel. Yeah. So the Sunday night before the Iowa State duel, or the week, the previous Sunday, I got a call from Cody, and he's like, "We need you to show up Saturday." And I was 307. So in that week, I ended up cutting 22 pounds, and that's kind of how it kicked off. I was supposed to have my entire Christmas break and then slowly ease into it, but with Rasmussen banging up his knee, they needed me to come in, and it was kind of just jump into the deep end.
Yeah, I kind of remember talking to Cody a little bit on the side about that, and he let Alex and I know. I'm pretty sure Alex was in on that discussion, that's where you were at, and we were like, well, is he going to make it? And he's like, oh,
Cody was like, we'll get it there,
Yeah, and
never
I'm like,
confident.
That's a lot. Been there, done that at one point in my life, and it is not easy. So kudos to you, sir. That's a lot of hard work. Jordan?
Yeah, I mean, I know that I talked to Cody and stuff would have been, I don't even know, right before a couple days before or whatever. And he's like, I just hope he makes it. He's like, if he doesn't make it, I can't blame him, but I just hope he makes it.
Yeah.
So was that a combination of diet and or exercise? I imagine a lot of both.
Yeah. I mean, my entire life I've never been very strict with what I eat.
Sure.
But that week was definitely chicken and rice once or twice a day, and then counting the calories, the exact amount of ounces of water I'm putting in. It was a definite switch up there, especially from football to wrestling. I mean, football just gotta fall within like 300 to 305, and with Christmas I kind of went up a little bit, so but it was definitely a big change.
What
go ahead, Alex.
No, I was gonna say but you made it, and you got to go out there against pretty good guy against Arizona State. What was that like, first appearance? It was kind of maybe it was good, maybe it was a bummer to not be in Frost, but you go from some of these high school arenas, and don't get me wrong, as we all know, we've got some good solid events and stuff in South Dakota high school wrestling, but it's not a SDSU Arizona State duel depending on.
No.
So what was that like?
I was terrified. I mean, I couldn't tell you how nervous I was for that duel. But I mean, it came down to it, and I'm sure you guys saw like the first period, I had no gas tank, and I didn't realize, because I spent most of my high school career like not really
you
having
didn't wrestle
to
3 periods.
No. So my thought process was, I just want a takedown. So I did everything I could to try and get a takedown in that first period, not realizing how much it would suck
Energy.
More
second and third.
wrestling.
So
That is awesome. The college wrestling landscape's a little different as far as rules and such versus high school, especially the way South Dakota runs. Talk maybe a little bit about adjusting to that and, getting your mind wrapped around those differences.
I mean, it wasn't a massive difference. I mean, there were a couple of things here and there. Riding time was one that I kind of had to get used to. The Zuba match, I kept looking up and I was like, oh, I still have a point. I didn't realize with riding time,
You're down 2.
Yeah, I didn't realize that.
Or the tech.
So like it was matches like that where I didn't quite realize. And then later in the year, towards the end, I ended up having a match against a guy where I thought I had won the match because riding time would have put me up by 1. I was 3 seconds short. I didn't realize that. So I'm still kind of learning, but it's definitely been a learning process and I'm getting there. But yeah, it's a bit of a difference, but not quite as much as I thought it would be.
Yeah, I'm sure Damian and Cody are trying to coach you from the corner during a match, but we all know that sometimes they're all you can hear and sometimes you don't hear anything at all. I imagine that's what it's like for you as well. Did I freeze up or did Mike?
No,
I think Micah did.
Say dorm internet might be biting us a little bit here.
Yeah, Benawee's internet is struggling a bit. If you come back, we might have to coach Micah here to get on and off. I will text him. Let me take myself off. Tell a funny story.
We had the U.S. Open last weekend. We had some Jack's guys competing.
He's
there's
back.
Micah's
All right, the internet in the dorms is spotty.
That's the
I was just going to let you know that log out and log back in if that does happen. And I do want to apologize officially. Alex pointed out I've known too many Hatches with a T, and I misspelt your name both when I tried to send you an email and in the description for this.
It's fine. You should hear some of the announcers. They butcher it.
Yeah, I knew how to say it. That was kind of the problem. So. Where were we, guys?
I don't know.
You want to finish on the U.S. Open comment that we started, Alex?
Oh, sure. I was going to say we had some guys competing, both alumni and current guys in the room. Got some solid results. I didn't know if you're kind of the guy who tracks a lot of that stuff, Jordan. You didn't send me your normal spreadsheet. I didn't know if you had any thoughts on any of that or.
Yeah, no, sorry to you guys, production meeting here a little bit. Sorry for not getting that out. It's been a crazy week, but
no, that's just fine. I know you've had some personal stuff, so.
But we had the U.S. Open, and I don't even have the information in front of me. I can look at my Twitter quick here, but
while he's doing that, were you able to follow any of the results there, Micah, or you just kind of follow along on Twitter with the rest of us?
I kind of just followed along on Twitter. I didn't really.
That's cool. Yeah. That's so on an average day, you're going to class now. So walk us through maybe what an average day looks like on the football side, and then what an average day looks like after you had moved into full wrestling mode. So after the cut.
Okay, so for football, a lot of the stuff we do, we split it up throughout the day. So football, there's kind of two sides to it. There's off season and then there's in season. In season, we kind of have morning stuff, but you schedule all your classes around everything that you've got. If you have morning stuff, it'd be like PT, stuff like that. And then we have practice at night and then lifts as well. And then off season, they try to get as much of it done in the morning as they can. So at most you'll have everything done by like 1 or 2 o'clock in the afternoon. They there's exceptions to that every now and again with like certain lifting groups, or meetings. Those will sometimes be later in the evening. We'll have like team dinners and then you'll do meetings and stuff like that. But then on the wrestling side, all of it is in the evening. I mean, you get done with your classes and I mean, you can schedule individuals, stuff like that. But most of the time practices are at 4:00. And then if you want to do anything outside of that, you kind of schedule it on your own.
Makes sense. I've got some low-hanging fruit before we get too deep into another conversation and completely derail everything. We touched on the high school stuff a little bit. Who was the best official you had in your entire high school career?
I'd have to say Rote. I love that dude.
Come on.
Really?
Greg over me?
Oh man, you know what? I like
I
Roach.
doesn't even remember you.
I like Roach. He's a good dude. When I was a wrestler in high school, I did not care for him.
I get along with Greg
official.
great. That just tried to give you the low-hanging fruit and gonna sniff me.
He's probably never seen you ref a match, Alex.
I had like 3 of his.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. When you're winning, you don't remember who the official is.
You got to make bad calls to be remembered, or calls at all.
Yeah, that'll get remembered real well.
It's true. That's what my wife, not to get sidetracked, but most of you know my wife waitresses. She stays at home and waitresses part-time at Cubbies, and she'll mention that to people from time to time that I do football and wrestling. And that was actually some Watertown parents. She said after the Lee Tolstos invites, like, "Oh, who's that?" And she says, like, "Oh, we don't know who he is. That's probably a good thing."
Yeah.
We're talking.
Go ahead.
We're talking high school here. Was that your sister from Watertown that, if I remember right, won a state championship this year? Is that a cousin or?
That's my sister. Yeah,
that is your.
I've
sister.
Actually got 4 of them, 1 older and 3 younger.
Nice. Do they all wrestle too, or?
Well, my older sister doesn't, but my 3 younger ones do. And the goal is that they're better than I am, or ever will be. You know, Eden, she's actually her goal this year is to finish out number 1 in the country. We'll see how that goes out. But she was in Fargo finals the other year. Like she's been doing amazing. So,
are you a little too big to roll around, and or do you still kind of show her some stuff?
I mean, I try. She really doesn't like it, but I mean, I'm always enthusiastic to help her out wherever I can, help out with coaching, here and there. But she doesn't like rolling with me. She says I'm too mean.
It comes with age too. The older you get, the more ornery you get, I feel like.
Mm-hmm.
I think we can tie that in a little bit. We had a gentleman in our comments earlier who everyone's probably familiar with, Quentin Christensen. How much is that? You're both South Dakota kids. Q obviously never wrestled at SDSU, but was an accomplished high school wrestler in his own right. How much has that helped you guys, form a close bond, kind of him be a mentor to you? Talk about that a little bit.
I would say Q's been, when I first got here, I think I was like terrified of him because all he would do was yell at me. But after a little bit, I mean, you come to realize that the people who care about you, like care how you perform, they're going to get angry when you mess up. And I kind of started to realize that, and that's kind of how it went from there. I mean, I noticed that like he was constantly getting on my back about me messing up footwork or alignment or my assignment, stuff like that. And I mean, when someone's like that, your first instinct is like, geez, why is this dude crawling on my back? But after I realized like he's there to help out, and how much he actually cared about me, I mean, that's
I gotta wonder if maybe he received the same treatment from like a Mason McCormick or something. That those badass linemen kind of pass that down, it seems like, and Q definitely fits that mold. remind me what position along the line you're playing right now. Are you a guard?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I'm
what I
guard.
thought. Okay. Now I've heard there's lots of people that think you have NFL potential. What do you think about that?
I mean, personally, I believe it. I mean,
Right on.
I remember this all the way back in kindergarten. There's like this thing where we would all go up on stage and tell the crowd what you wanted to be when you grew up. And everyone was like, doctor, lawyer. I was like, I'm going to play in the NFL. So it's always been like something that I've wanted to do. And my uncle Isaac, he actually was in the NFL for a couple of years. So yeah, just being around it. And it's always been a goal of mine. So,
well, I was told by a certain coach of yours that I had to pump you up because you do have that NFL talent and that you need to push yourself this spring to beat some guys out here in the fall. I don't know who might have told me that, but you might have an idea. And we're glad that we have such great coaching staffs, both in the wrestling and the football program, that allow you guys to sit down and have a chat with us. We appreciate your time. You talked about nutrition, and that's an interesting thing. As far as alignment, I know you guys got to keep some weight on, but they also, I know you're pretty big with the training coach there, our strength coach, whose name is escaping me. It's
Coach
Matt.
Morris.
Yeah, Morris. There you go, Morris. Yeah. Now, is he working with you to put on some lean muscle and build that up and working at all with the nutrition side of that? Because if I'm not incorrect, the strength coaching for the wrestling side is still garage strength.
Yeah. And then we also have someone who also helps out as well. Yeah.
Okay. So how's that going for you? It's got to be quite a bit different in the D1 weight rooms programs than it was for you in high school, right?
Oh yeah. I couldn't even describe to you how different it is. I used to do a lot of lifting on my own back in high school. We do training during in season, obviously, and then I do a little bit of postseason training. But during the wrestling season, I did a lot of weight training on my own. And switching over to like when we first got here, football, complete difference. I mean, I'm sure you guys have been in a college weight room before. Like it's a different type of environment. So,
I mean, I haven't been on a college team, been in a weight room, but
I've watched
by
it before. I've never
watched
it.
Well,
in there.
I'm so old that the small weight room in Frost, I don't know if you know what I'm talking about. That's like the basement.
Yeah, I do.
Okay. So that was the athletes, all of them. That was their weight room, but it was shared with the students when they weren't using it, the students got to use it. So that was the wellness center that we built. There's a long story there, but we helped get that wellness center built. That's got the track and the climbing wall and all that. That all used to be just that weight room. And then the above the stairs that Frost has, there's that square where you guys like sit down and sign posters and stuff for wrestling. That was like the cardio area. So yeah, just a little throwback for the old folks. Sorry.
So kind of piggybacking off that and the strength and conditioning piece, like you are not a small human. I don't think that's a secret to anyone here. You're significantly bigger than everyone else in the wrestling room on that side of things, right?
Yeah.
So who do you roll with? Who do you go with?
So one person that's been absolutely vital to my training has been AJ Nevels as well as Cody Caldwell.
AJ was complaining about. I work with AJ. AJ was complaining about having to roll with you the other day, so that's kind of teeing that up.
Yeah, they've been absolutely vital in like helping train me. I mean, AJ's got so many like tidbits of just small information that he drops.
He's
here
such a
and there.
smart guy.
Yeah. Like, and then wrestling wise, he's a bit funky, but like he's got so much like just pure gold of knowledge that he just kind of drops on you here and there. We'll be rolling, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Here, do this." I'm like, "Whoa, I never noticed that." So
Yeah, round of 16 guy's definitely not a bad guy to get to learn from.
yeah, definitely.
Are you gonna, since Alex just said here that you've been rolling around a little bit, and I know that talking to the coaches how next year's kind of going to go, and we'll touch on that in a little bit. But are you doing any freestyle or Greco this summer? You can try for any world teams or anything?
No, so right now I've had a couple of issues with my health. Switching back and forth between wrestling and football, the massive weight cut kind of affected my health a little bit, and then for a while I was on antibiotics and then steroids to help like boost my immune system, and that kind of like didn't really help. And then I ended up getting diagnosed with RSV a little bit after spring break, and I got diagnosed with asthma as well. So like it's been a little bit of a rough cycle here. So I just got told to lay off this summer, and I mean I roll every now and again, and the plan is to continue it throughout the summer. But like right now with football season ending, like with the football postseason training ending, like I got told I've got like a week and a half to myself where I'm not allowed to train, do anything because I've done so much to my body. So,
well, that probably was somewhat some underlying conditions then. I mean, the RSV might have been somewhat you were more susceptible, but yeah, that's interesting that would, you'd find that out. But
yeah,
I suppose that just means you gotta, I don't know. The asthma thing is weird because I had sports induced asthma when I was a kid, but I think that was really just I needed to do more cardio.
Well, I've never in my life had issues with it. Like my mom has asthma, but I've never had issues with it before. But they think that like I've never been this like gone down with this many sicknesses in my life in 1 year. So they think it's just like my body's been under so much strain and being in a new environment, and then the switch between wrestling and football, the cut kind of just knocked my immune system off its feet, and then took me a minute to crawl back. But
but you're feeling all right now.
Hopefully. Yeah, I feel awesome.
Good to hear.
What's it feel like? And I don't know, I know most athletes don't pay attention to them, and it's kind of a joke, but what does it feel like to know that I've seen in a couple postseason rankings for wrestling that you're the #1 heavyweight freshman in the country? What does that make you feel like when you realize that you only wrestled half a season because you're playing football the other 3/4 of it, and they're still giving you that ranking and stuff?
I didn't know that. I remember during my exit meeting with Cody that he mentioned something like that, but I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, I've spent so much of my time dedicated to wrestling. I mean, so many summers blown off friends, you spend so much time training that, I mean, when you kind of finally see it come to fruition, it's just awesome. So that it's amazing. I didn't know that.
Yeah, WrestleStat I know was for sure was one of them that has you the #1 heavyweight for the true freshman last year. Then I seen another one too, I think, that had you as the #1 heavyweight for your class year.
Well, that's cool that you've been that dedicated over the past. I know I only joined wrestling to get better at football, and obviously being a wrestler makes you better at football. I will die on that hill. But it turned out I liked wrestling more myself, and the sad reality of it is the future in wrestling is not quite the same as the future for football.
No, yeah, I mean, the amount that wrestling has made me grow as a human being, I would say, and like the lessons I've learned from it, like I'll take that with me for the rest of my life. I mean, I haven't learned much from football, but then again, I haven't been that invested in football for that long. So it wasn't until like probably my junior year of high school that I like got invested in football. But like I would say my 8th grade year is when I started taking wrestling real seriously. I've wrestled and played football since 3rd grader, so I've been doing it most of my life, but never really take it seriously. You know, you do pee-wee football, you go mess around with your friends, and then you go to pee-wee matches and you wrestle the same 5 guys at the same 5 tournaments across the Midwest. You know, especially at my weight, there's like 5 guys in the tri-state area who are your weight, your size, and your age. So, yeah.
I was going to ask another football-ish related question. I know John Gaskins has really been kind of pinging this off most of his Jackrabbit related guests, but you know, you were there for spring ball last year, right?
No,
you
I
weren't.
wasn't.
Okay, you
No.
you didn't come in till okay. I was just going to ask you what you thought of the organized practices this year and how they've been going, maybe versus last year. But I thought you were able to catch. But I suppose you weren't able to enroll early enough to do that. So
No.
I guess that was a bad question. My bad.
You're fine.
But it does seem like things are really rolling for the football team this year. Everything's looking really good. I know that our offensive line had a few people that were down during the spring game, you know, that have been rehabbing some injuries and coming back. Has that got you a few more minutes with some of the 1s and 2s then?
Oh, yeah. During the spring game, I mean, it was mostly 2s that were out there during the spring game. So, I mean, that's pretty awesome. I mean, getting an opportunity to do that. But, yeah, I would say it's kind of like allowed more emphasis on the younger guys, like really make sure that we're dialed in and like really getting us ready. Because one thing we noticed last year was like how strong you need your depth. You don't just need like a 1st string, 2nd string. You need guys who like your 2nd string just as good as your 1st string, but like maybe the 1st string guy has a certain edge to him, you know, where like that's the reason you put him out there.
Like a 1A, 1B kind of deal.
Yeah.
So, what do you think of the atmosphere of the spring game? Because I take it you weren't there at the last one, so that had to be pretty cool to be out there with. I mean, there was a ton of people there.
Yeah, I was at the last one. I was
okay.
I was one of the guys. They bring in all the.
Oh yeah, they brought out the recruits.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
it's a little different when you got the uniform on, though, right?
Yeah, it's so much different. Yeah. I'd say it was awesome. I mean, getting to have so many people watch you. I mean, high school, it's high school football. You do whatever you want. I mean, you got a job as long as you do it. Coach is happy. Whereas, like, you got all the fans showing up, family members, and then you go out there and you perform your assignment perfectly. You nail your technique, and it just feels awesome. Helps you appreciate it at like a whole nother level.
No, you get those little bit of, it's tough, right? Because it's not the full taste of what you're after there, but going back to talking about the Arizona State duel, you know, it's the payoffs are why you do it, right? It's
yeah.
It gets you ready.
Also is a very cool atmosphere there at the Pentagon too, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So that's gonna say maybe what are some of the things for some of those payoffs in the next year you're maybe looking forward to experiencing? You know, big football games, maybe compete for a starting job, get a chance to wrestle at conference, NCAA tournament. Or even down the road, what are some of those things you're looking at here?
Well, so some of my goals that I spoke with my coaches is with football. Definitely, I'm gunning for that starting spot. I mean, I want to push as hard as I can to be the best football player I can. Same with wrestling. Wrestling is a lot more of like an unknown because I just had such little time with it. But I mean, I know you guys, like, it's harder to follow along with just exactly how I'm wrestling with, like, going to individual tournaments and stuff like that. But as the year went on, I started to, like, find a groove again.
No,
I
your
mean,
open results were awesome this year.
Yes,
I
they
mean,
were.
talk about that some. I mean, you were tearing it up.
yeah, I had so towards the end of the year, I mean, I really started to feel like I put stuff together more. Like my neutral position came together a lot more, transitioning from hand fight to attacks. Like the Jackrabbit Open, I felt was kind of like my best accumulation of all that, and it was my last tournament, which kind of sucked. But like,
I mean, it would make sense that you get better along the year, and then you have your best match at the end, right? Being young.
with how the season went, I mean, I'd say that first match with Zuba kind of like it made me really reevaluate how I was wrestling. And then you can see at like the CBU match, like I really backed off of my offense. Like after that match, I started to rely a lot more on my hips and like how big I am as a person, which is really effective, I guess. Cody and Han really wanted me to lean on that, so that's what I really started to push. And then as the year continued to go on, I started to add pieces onto that in neutral, like snap downs, snaps into shots. I'm big on arm drags, stuff like that, and just kind of putting stuff together and making it flow. Because I mean, that first Zuba match really kind of, I guess, surprised me about how ineffective some of my attacks were. Like I got his leg in the air, and they kept telling me he's an unconventional wrestler, but like that's college wrestling. Like I got his leg in the air, and I'm running it down, and then all of a sudden he does a front flip, and I'm kicked over his head. You know,
Yep.
it's like, what can I do against that? They're like, he's a weird wrestler. There's not much you can do.
You keep scrambling.
Yeah, scramble. That's all I can. Scramble drill.
Yeah. So I mean, it was a big. I guess that was one of the biggest changes. It was like I'm sure you noticed, Alex, with like how aggressive I was in neutral throughout high school. Like that's what I leaned on, is I was a big, powerful guy, and I could go through just about anyone. Whereas college, like you can't do that. You can't get away with it nearly as much as you can in high school. Even on like some of the national stages at Fargo, I mean, I ripped through a lot of guys at Fargo Nationals just relying on my size and power. Whereas you get to college and some of the D2 guys are just as strong as you. The USF heavyweight, the first time I wrestled him, like I was stuck in an under over for like a good chunk of the first period. I couldn't get him into a headlock, couldn't get him into any sort of toss until he made a mistake and I ended up tossing him. But it's like usually I can force that stuff, you know, and you got to be a lot more. And I think it just switched my style to be a lot more conservative in the way I wrestle. So yeah,
More opportunistic than creating or trying to create. Yeah, which will help that gas tank a little bit too.
Yes, it will.
So something that I've heard through luncheons and stuff like that, and correct me if I'm wrong here at all, Micah, but last year you were not in the room. Excuse me. You wrestled during the summer with the boys, and then when football started again, you went to football.
Mm-hmm.
And then after the season ended, you came back to wrestling. Now, from my understanding, is you're gonna get maybe like one day a week this next football season to just get in there and kind of roll around with Cody and do like an individual or something, right? So that's gonna keep you on the mat a little bit more.
That's the plan. So what happened? I don't know how much I'm allowed to say, but like I had
if you don't want to say, no.
Yeah,
I had a pretty big incident when I first got here between football and wrestling where I overtrained, and it was on me. I was cutting weight for Fargo, and then I was going to wrestling practice. Like we had morning training and we worked our butts off all day. They were kicking the freshmen's butts, like when we first got here, and we'd get done at noon. And then 2 hours later, I'd show up and I'd do a full wrestling practice. And I wasn't really explaining to either of them the full extent of what I was doing. And then I'd get done with wrestling practice and I'd be like, I'm still heavy and I feel like I'm out of shape. So I'd go run a little bit. And that on top of cutting weight just didn't end well. And so football was like, if you're going to, like, we want you back. I got concussed at Fargo, so backed off of everything, training. And then when I came back, it was just football for the football season. And then wrestling season came around, and yeah, now we're kind of transitioning and we're trying to figure out a plan. And right now that is the plan. Once a week, I'll get in the room with Cody or someone, whoever I can.
So one of your goals this year is going to be to make AJ pay if he makes any mistakes with you, right? Like,
he already told me the other day, he's like, I gotta switch up to just low singles on him. He goes, anytime I get underneath him, he goes, I'm an old man now, it just hurts.
Yeah.
It always hurt. You just didn't realize it because you were young and dumb, I think is the answer there, really.
Yeah.
So that should keep you more involved in wrestling and more, I don't want to say wrestling shape, but more wrestling shape. And then when after the national championship game next year for football, then you'll get to come back to wrestling and finish that out then with a little bit of experience, or with a little bit of not just stepping on the mat the first time a day before the duel or whatever. So yeah.
That was kind of their hope, is like I went from like 4 months of not even stepping on the mat. I'd show up and I'd say hello, but that's about the extent of it.
Well, it does sound like a little of that. I know you said it was on you, but a little of that was just the unorganized portion of you doing what you thought you needed to do for Fargo and the extra cardio in that. So I imagine that's going to be a little more under supervision of the programs as it is.
Just hearing you say that, like, I remember in high school in the summer, much lower level, like football practice 3 to 4 times a week and freestyle practice twice a week. And like Thursdays, I think it was the only day, but they land on the same day. And like, I would just feel dead. So I can't even imagine that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's at the high school level, not the Division I level, to further emphasize that.
Yeah. Those summer workouts were rough. They were like, they made an emphasis on like kicking the freshman butt. Like, there's some guys in here, I remember it myself too. Like, you'd have a hard time falling asleep at night because you were scared of that lift the next morning. And then guys would be walking out of the facility and I'm walking over to the wrestling room. They're like, where are you going? I'm like, I got wrestling practice.
I got to go practice.
Like nuts.
you know, there are a select few like Q that understand what wrestling is and how hard physically that is. But there are guys on there that I guarantee have no idea. And if they had to go through wrestling practice, as in shape as they are, they'd probably feel like they were out of shape.
Kobe and Nate Adams were pretty good in the day too. I know I saw them at some duels this year, and
yeah, you got a lot of support at your duels. That was kind of cool to see.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Definitely a family over there in the football world, and not that it's not in wrestling. Obviously, wrestling's super tight knit. If you're a wrestling fan, you almost don't even need to explain that. Talk a little bit about your relationships with the coaching staff. Have you been able to spend much time? I know you talked about spending time with Cody and Damian. How about our other favorite wrestling coach? You get to spend any time with Cam?
Oh yeah, I love Cam. I mean, what's
he's
not
a character
about him?
Yeah,
I mean,
Mr. Personality.
Oh yeah, they've been. I mean, it's hard to explain how much, like, a part of my life they've been. Like, back when I was in high school, I explained to you, like, I'd go to RTC practices and stuff like that. And obviously they saw the potential and like we want this guy, you know. So that probably played a role in it too. But they've been so much behind me every step of the way that it's like they like part of my life that I wouldn't give up. Cam, for example, like when I was down at NHSCA's, when I ended up winning that tournament, like Cam was one of the first guys there to congratulate me. And me and my dad would walk around the tournament just talking with him. I mean, they've been there with me for quite a while. And now that I'm here and I see him more often, our relationship's only grown. So,
and it's completely genuine, right? Like, I mean,
yeah,
they are who they are. Like, there's no smoke and mirrors there. They're not trying to sell you a bill of goods.
I mean, there isn't many coaches that, I mean, I think a testament to how good of a coach they are is like, I wouldn't be doing two sports if it weren't for the fact that I have these coaches behind me. Like, if it weren't for the fact I have Damian Hahn, Cody Caldwell, Dan Jackson, Mike Bankston, if I didn't have those guys behind me, I don't think I'd be able to do this. You know, they've been such a big part of my life. They've been there every step of the way, supporting me and pushing me. So
it's really cool, man. It's very cool.
What let's talk a little bit quick here about, and I might be stepping on toes, so if you can't talk about it, you can just say it, but Jackrabbit Nation also gets another Watertown kid, not this year, but next year, engaged. What's Jackrabbit Nation getting engaged when he gets there to wrestle?
I love Gage.
I love the laugh. I know there's a lot behind that.
Gage is, I'm not lying when I say this, he's one of the best wrestlers I think I've ever seen. Just kind of like the way he flows. Like, you watch some really high level guys just in the way they flow and the way he wrestles, just like everything looks like it like it's supposed to happen, you know. He's a really high level wrestler. I mean, the dude works his butt off. I mean, he broke his arm his junior, like last year, broke his arm like I think it was third or fourth week into the season. He was supposed to be out for the rest of the year, shows up for regionals, whoops everyone, shows up for state, whoops everyone. Did the same thing this year with his back. Like, he had a massive back injury. So you can't really question the amount of dedication he has and how much he loves the sport, because, I mean, he's pushed through a lot of stuff. I mean, being in the same room as him, he pushes a lot, and he definitely has a level of dedication to the sport you don't see in a lot of high schoolers, you know, which is, I think, the reason he's here at D1 level. I mean, he's such a good wrestler, and he has so much dedication to the sport.
For anybody that didn't know, and this is just something that I heard, I can't confirm or deny, I guess, completely, but Gage had to have surgery the week after state on his back, I believe.
Yeah, that's what I heard too. Like, he pushes so hard. And I mean, I've been through a lot, pushed through a lot, but like that guy, I mean, different level there.
I feel like we missed a coach.
Clay.
On the wrestling side.
Oh. Coach
Do you
Clay.
get to wrestle with with Clay at all? Do you get to
Coach Clay?
Interact with him much? Because he's a super cerebral, very smart, super talented at many things. Always talking to him, I walk away feeling like, gosh, I'm not as smart as I think I am.
No, he's just a thoughtful guy.
Right. Yeah. I love Clay. I don't interact with him quite as much. I mean, a lot of my interactions with him, like study hall, him and Cam run it, so I do talk to him quite a bit. But when it comes to wrestling, like, Cam's a smaller guy, so, you know, like, I truly believe that the difference between heavyweight and the rest of the weight class is kind of different. I don't know if there's another way to put that.
No, the style of wrestling is way different, I'd say.
Yeah.
except for some of those very elite heavyweights that
Yeah.
kind of wrestle like 97 pounders. I don't know how else to say that, but
even then, like you've got it's
right.
I'd
Still
I
different.
say it's completely different style of wrestling. Like it's just hard to really put into words, I guess. You know what I mean?
I do. I always call it the Russian dancing bears because you get a lot of that that you don't get at 97, 84, and below that certainly. But I mean, that's a half of most matches, probably.
Yeah.
Is leaning on each other, fighting for position in neutral.
Here's the thing about that, not to get too sidetracked, because
here's Mr. Freestyle gonna come in.
No, I wasn't even gonna go. I wasn't even gonna go there. You know, no one likes a 1-0 ultimate tiebreaker match or 2-1 ultimate tiebreaker match. But you know, when it comes to like that style, I would rather watch it at 285 than like 125 or 133.
Yeah.
I mean, you get some of those matches, and what was so that 30? No, 33 would have been Forrest. Was it 41 at NCAA's this year? The finals match, that was just horrible.
Oh yeah, that 41. Yeah, I know the match you're talking about now too. It was
that's gonna bug me.
Double sudden victory.
Yeah,
that one's a little bit rough to watch.
Yeah, it was.
It's like, oh yeah, this is growing the sport right now for people that this is the only.
And then it ended on a. Didn't it end on a reffing judgment call basically too?
Yeah, it ended on a stall call basically. It was a 2-1 on a stall call, which it was stalling. It was like. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, but it's kind of like interesting how basketball doesn't call those touch fouls till the last 30 seconds of the game, and then everything's a foul. It's like, well, if that's a foul in the last 30 seconds, hasn't that been a foul the whole game?
So
that's a whole different discussion. We're on a tangent there.
Say officials' perspective there. If it's clear, a guy's gassed. It was 125. It was Lilladall and McGowan. And
it was first.
Yeah. So it's like 41 would have been Vegas, or Seidel, so that wasn't right. It was Lilladall and McGowan, and it was like Lilladall knew he was going to be able to just get a stall call on his feet because he had stalled McGowan out like at CK or something like that, and so he knew he was going to be able to probably draw a couple calls, and like I don't think McGowan attempted like even a fake. Like the entire match.
But that's why you don't allow yourself to get those stalls during the regular periods, Alex.
100%.
You've got to do better. Sorry.
So let's talk about some big news that we haven't discussed yet on the show because it came out afterwards. And
it did. Our last show was the NCAAs, so we've had some changes with Jackrabbit Wrestling.
So we're going Pac-12. How do you feel about that, and with the change in the conference, and I know a big selling point is that we get to host a home conference tournament. What does that mean to you to be able to know that you have a chance to do that in our home arena or home area?
I think it's awesome. I also think that I haven't quite been here long enough to really comment in depth about that. I mean, I went to a bunch of opens, and I mean, I was only really here for like the only real things I wrestled in were the CBU and the Arizona, and then the national duels. So, I guess I really don't have much to say about that, but I'm excited to see what happens. I can't wait.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've been hearing, we get a bigger say in things. It's a net positive for SDSU wrestling outside of not being able to wrestle probably Iowa State. That's going to be I know we could still wrestle them, right? And I think we still probably
technically that was an out of conference
this year
against the conference opponent this year. So
right.
They're not afraid to wrestle. We're not afraid. I think we'll still. It probably won't be every year. We'll still see you and I and Iowa State on the rotation.
I
would
think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, people are worried that the competition is less. I don't see that. Somewhat, but
I think
maybe just the upper top portion of the competition,
Yeah.
right?
Ultimately in my eyes, in the end, there's the best 30. I'm going to say 28 because you do got a couple guys in there that pull an upset because somebody got hurt and they kind of got gifted into the tournament or whatever. But ultimately, the top 28 guys in the country are there for the final tournament, and that's what matters the most.
Yep.
I don't think it matters how you get there. You just got to get there to them top 28 guys in the country.
At the end of the day, you just control what you control, and that means beat the guy across from you on the mat. And if you do that every time, it doesn't matter if you're wrestling what. I mean, maybe you won't be number one ranked if you won every match in the Big Ten. Potentially, you'd be number one ranked. You win every match in the Big 12. Maybe you're number one ranked. You win every match in the Pac-12. You might only
3
be
to
third
5
ranked. Yeah,
you're 3
doesn't
to 5.
matter. It's maybe a little different path, but again, to be the best, you got to beat the best. So there's really no. It seems like a dumb argument to me. I guess it's our coaching staff and our AD are very wise people, and if it wasn't the right move for them, they wouldn't have made it. And NDSU wouldn't have also done it, in my opinion. So they would have stayed behind if they thought the other was better.
You can hate up north all you want, but they obviously have smart people up there in their athletic department to do what they do in football. So you have to, they aren't going to make the wrong choices either necessarily.
Yeah, I mean, they're much in the same boat as us, and they have smart people too. So on a Micah Hach level, the student level, what's your major? What are you taking up? How's that going?
So that one's a bit of a funny story. I thought coming in, I was going to be that guy, and I was going to do mechanical engineering.
You're
an ME degree. What a waste of time.
I mean, you could become electrical. It's more fun. It's just more math. Well, not really.
Yeah, I learned Chem 112 isn't that fun of a class.
But here's the thing. Speaking
then you get to take 14. It's even better.
Yeah.
Not for ME, you don't have to. You take 112 and you never do anything like that ever again.
Yeah, you don't. But I realized after I scheduled 4 math courses in one semester that I wasn't going to be able to do this for 4 years if I'm going to be doing 2 sports. Because let me tell you, you get back and you get back to the dorms and you're pretty wiped out. You don't have a lot of energy to do much else, let alone study for 6 more hours. So,
well, he hasn't had a statics class yet.
Well, no. I guess if you changed after first semester, that's usually second semester freshman year.
Yeah, I ended up switching to business econ. It's still a pretty serious degree, but not anything that'll keep me up till 3 a.m. At least I hope not.
I would say, knowing what I know, being the 7-year student that I was, you have to be good at math, or you have to give it several attempts to be able to make it through engineering school. And I'll just leave it at that.
I can understand that. Yeah, definitely. We have a couple of guys that are on the football team that are doing mechanical engineering as well. And they start throwing around stuff that I'm like, I'm so happy. I don't even have to touch that. So happy.
Here's the thing, though. Unless you're staying in academia or going into super, super duper high level design, they already have Excel books and programs and stuff built for you. I can't remember the time I actually did a real Laplace transform. I type it into Excel or MATLAB now and it does it for me.
Did I send you that reel, Alex?
Yeah, you did.
Okay. Anyway, sorry, engineering humor. You'll have to send it to AJ, then it'll make more sense to him. But Yeah, I've never done a Laplace transfer after I left college. That's for damn sure. But I think if I would have went back and done it, I would have maybe considered the double ET, the technical, more hands-on version of that, or like a construction management. I think I probably would have done much better, and my time and money would have been saved or better served than taking Calc 3 times.
Speaking of AJ, you can get a construction management degree and still end up as an engineer at the largest private employer in South Dakota. Yeah. So
we also while we're talking about AJ, we also need to give him a shout out for winning the tournament.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh yeah,
son of a gun.
I should see if I can send it to myself and post it here. I had to
send
Chad. I had to send Chad and Jordan a picture. I delivered the goods to his cube the day after he won it, and then he was wearing the Kubota hat a couple days later, so I had to get a picture of him walking around wearing that.
And I missed that in our intro that we are sponsored by the Kubota dealers of South Dakota. So if you need any medium to heavy duty construction equipment, yard maintenance equipment, tractors, Kubota's got you set. See your local Kubota dealer. Glad we got that out of the way finally.
And then
otherwise John's gonna see me Saturday at the banquet and be like, hey man, I caught your show, didn't mention us at all.
Right.
He's not like that at all. He's awesome.
No, actually. John's the nicest guy you'll meet.
You're gonna be there, Micah?
What?
At the
scholarship auction
banquet? Okay.
Yeah, we had.
So which hat do you put on then? Besides the Kubota one.
I mean, I just show up in SDSU gear.
I just didn't know which table they're gonna have you stand behind.
I don't know either. I just got told to show up.
Okay. That
makes sense. Well, Alex is pulling up that picture. We'll touch back on the U.S. Open quick. Quinn Morgan, he finished fourth at 197 or 97 kilograms in Greco, and this is the senior side of it.
Let's say senior level. So that's you're trying to go to world championships.
Yep. And then
for our casual fans, let's just make sure we point that out.
And then Kay DeVos, which is our grad assistant, he finished 7th. Or did he finish?
Speaking of a smart dude, that guy.
He was 7th or 8th. I don't. Yeah. And then in the U20 side of it, Jarrett Watson finished 4th in freestyle and 5th in Greco-Roman. Jacob Herm.
Is just, I was gonna say, just to credit Watson, that's crazy on its own, because those are not as similar as you would think if you're one of our more casual fans.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not the same.
And
Greco's not something you really even grow up doing.
No. There's AJ wearing his Kubota hat at work the other day.
Gosh, he's got long arms. How do you contend with that, Micah? He's got to have a reach on you.
I've got longer arms.
I know.
I got
his arms just like he's got Marfan syndrome or something. Sorry, that's an absurd thing to say.
And then Jacob,
somebody would have to know.
Jacob Herm got 7th in freestyle, and then Cohen Carlson got 8th in Greco-Roman. So that was our U.S. Open rundown for last weekend.
Yeah, so we got some good action going on. That is supported by your donations to the Jackrabbit Wrestling Club. If I am not correct, going to the Jackrabbit Wrestling Club banquet, participating in the golf event. There's different ways that you can donate to them, and that always helps. That helps with the RTC that Mike has been talking about all night. And that's one of the reasons Mike ended up here. I know that the coaching staff in wrestling and the coaching staff in football both work together to ensure that you became a Jackrabbit. That was their goal, and they wanted to work together to make sure that would be happening. And we're glad to have you for sure.
Yeah, glad to be here.
So as far as more about Micah, the non-wrestler, non-football guy, although that's inherently who you are, other things that you like to do? Are you a hunter fisher kind of guy at all? You like getting on the outdoors? Are you gearhead? What's your fun outside of that, or was when you were not doing sports in high school?
I would say I was I didn't have much of a life outside of wrestling and football.
Okay,
I mean,
that's fair.
I pushed a lot of time into training. That's hard to quantify, but I'll just say a lot. I mean, I do love hunting. Like, I'm not nearly as big of a hunter as I would like to be. I mean, I've gone duck hunting a couple of times, geese hunting a couple of times. I've only ever been deer hunting once. Pretty disappointing. Wish I had been more. I'm not like a really big gearhead, but I like working on cars as well. My Jetta, actually, or not Jetta, my Impala. I have a 07 Impala that I drive around campus. I blew the timing chain on it my junior year and replaced the engine on that with my dad. So
on one of those 3.5s. Huh?
Yep, 3.5.
Yeah. See, if you would have got a little older one, it would have had the 3800 in it. You wouldn't have had to touch that thing at all.
Yeah.
What do I know? I'm a pretty big gearhead myself. Not really ever done the and Alex is well, actually all three of us. We're all racing fans. So
I was gonna say, you ever go to Casino Speedway growing up? Did you ever go out to the racetrack? In high school?
I can't say.
No. Okay. Well, that's fine.
Like
it's actually it's a nice little facility. I like going up there once.
Yeah, but they don't really have sprint cars. So is there any real racing that's going on?
No, they do a couple times a year.
Oh, yeah,
the insurance gives them one night.
One night. Okay. Anyway, we like to joke around with each other a little bit. So you know what though? You can hunt when you're 60 years old. You probably aren't playing football and you aren't wrestling.
Yeah.
Well, you could wrestle when you're 60. There's those old guys that do it, which is crazy.
Oh yeah.
It's crazy.
It's awesome.
It is awesome. No, not like crazy in a bad way. Crazy and like, I'm fat. I'm only 46. I don't think I'm ever going to wrestle again. Although, I mean, if you need someone to roll around with you, I can try and fat on you once, but that's probably all I got,
You want?
No, I don't. No, I don't. I'm joking. So, all right. Well, we've took an hour of Micah's time here, guys. Any last questions you have for him that were things that we wanted to get out of the way, except for, reminding him that he's got to remember this interview when he's in the NFL and still give us time, then hopefully.
I will.
All right. We'll hold you to it.
All right.
Alex?
I got nothing. Stick around when we're off for a second, but that's all.
For just a
all
second.
we got for you.
All right.
Jordo?
I think we're good.
All right. Well, we usually end on a get jacked. So on the count of three, let's do a get jacked. 3, 2, 1. Get jacked.